Hello friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. I am Jenny and today I'm going to take you on a little bit of an adventure doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that. As you know, if you've been around me for very long, we call that piddling around in the garden. So I'm going to piddle around here at the nursery and the garden today. Clearly it is a windy day, so forgive any wind that may happen. Also, I will tell you that I went and got my hair done today and I got a little haircut. So if we do it up close and you see like hairs all over my face, y'all know, we all get haircuts and you know those little rascals go everywhere. I do want to talk about first though, the cottage garden behind me. We have had multiple really cold, hard freezes already here on the 1st of December. I need to get in there and do my final kind of fall cleanup, putting the bed to bed for the winter. And I was going to do that today, and then I was like, you know, I always kind of sell myself short on how much or how involved a project's going to be. And I was like, oh, I could probably get that really done really quick. Yeah, no. So I'm going to leave that for a whole nother day. Let me just show you some of the things that need to be done in that bed. So here we go. Remember, this is what I call the cottage garden because it has a little bit of everything. It has annuals and perennials. There are the garden boxes behind it. There are, of course, the massive loropetalums and the thuja green giants behind it. But what needs to happen now is the vast majority of the perennials, the annuals have been pulled out. So if you see holes, that's what's going on there. My Amsonia right here, it has shown its beautiful fall color. It is ready to be cut down to the ground. The little 2 clumps here, there's multiple clumps. Those are daylilies. Those probably could be killed back a little bit more. My Nephophia, look at that sucker right there. It's a beautiful evergreen. It gets to stay. Now this is Miss Huff Lantana. I've shown her to you many a times before. I have always read that with lantana, in order to make it a perennial, you want to not trim it back at this time, even though it is really kind of unsightly. And this is what drives Jerry crazy about this lantana, is because right now it's still holding on to its leaves, but it will lose them all and then we have sticks. The reason you don't trim your lantana back now is because they have hollow stems, and if you have a lot of rain and that kind of thing, the water can get down in the stems and rot the plant. So she's going to stay for another while. I do have my Vermillionaire right here that we left to the last possible moment because the pollinators were loving it. So anyway, there's just obviously a lot of cleanup that needs to happen in this bed. But I just decided I am just not up for it for today. So we are going to go on a little walk. We are going to head on over to the nursery because, if I am not mistaken, Jerry and Heather, I believe, are over here digging irrigation lines for the new greenhouse, because today is Wednesday and the concrete guys are coming on Friday. And all of that needs to be done before the concrete guys come. So it was my understanding that that is what they are doing. So we are going to go check on them and see how it is going. But as you can tell, it is an absolutely gorgeous day here in North Carolina. It's the 1st day of December. Carolina blue sky, gorgeous clouds, nice and windy. It's actually warm. I think we're supposed to even get up to like 75 one of these days. It's crazy, and then it goes cold again. I enjoy the 4 seasons. I don't really like it being, you know, mid-70s in December. We got plenty of time for that. So let's head over here and find these 2 little sweet people. All right, friends, let's see if we can find somebody back here. There he is. Hey, darling.
Hello.
Is it going okay?
Yep, it's going good.
All right, so I think we're going to switch off the camera and I'm going to kind of give you an update on what Jerry's been doing today. All right, so we decided to switch off the camera because he is not mic'd up, and it just makes more sense for me to tell you what he's done, and of course if I make a mistake he will correct me. Here we are on the side of the greenhouse, right? The shopping area, the pergola is just off to my right. If you can see this area of dirt soil right here, this is where he and Heather had to trench and bring a line in right around here. And in here is the main power line, and it is a 110 line.
It's going to be 100 amps.
100 amps. There we go. Not an electrician. And you will also notice, without trying to make you dizzy, if you're familiar, you'll notice that we normally have tables right here. We had to take them out, that would have been the week before Thanksgiving, because Jerry brought back in the 2 gas tanks, and he brought them with the Bobcat. He and Andrew were working on that, and they brought them in to set behind the greenhouses, because remember, we're going to have this concrete pad right here. Once that concrete pad was poured, of course, you're not going to be going over that with a Bobcat. And so they got the gas tanks in place. We are still waiting on the gas company to come hook us up. Hopefully they will do that before Friday. We shall see. Anyway, so we have the main power coming in and coming around, and that is what you see sticking out right here. So all of this is the main power for everybody. There is another line that Jerry tells me that goes here and then goes inside. You might be able to see that gray pipe. I don't know if you can see it through the wall, but that's where the other power comes up.
Yes, that's the power that powers all the stuff.
Powers all the stuff. There we go.
All the different power lines.
All the electrical stuff is happening. And then, of course, you can see it looks like we have very large gophers or something. All the trenching is happening here now for irrigation. So if you will remember, the concrete pad is going to come up here. These white pipes that you see are going to be outside, correct? Yes, they're going to be outside of the little building and not in the concrete pad, because these will be the valves, like the sunken valves that control the different zones. So it's outside, but basically where I'm standing is where the concrete pad and the wall is going to be, roughly, right? So coming off this main water, you can see he has trenched a line and has laid down some PVC. This is again that Schedule 40 pipe. So we have to use all the glue and all that. Really nice thick stuff comes in, and it's going to bring the water into the greenhouse. And this is where your mind wants to kind of explode, because not only do we have to have lines for clear water coming in here, but we also have to have the lines for the fertigation system. So he's got multiple lines that will be coming in and out of here, because we have to have the fertigation, right, for the hanging baskets and the sprinklers, but yet we also need to have clear water, unfertilized water spigots that we can have also in here. So there's a lot of things going on. It's like some big giant puzzle that you have to make sure you get all the pieces correct. So that is what they're working on. And then of course there is that time crunch, because like I said, the concrete guys are coming in, you know.
They're actually coming tomorrow to form everything.
Oh, good. Jerry just said they're coming tomorrow to form everything. So a little bit of a time crunch here, and so we're not going to waste much more of his time, because he's holding the camera, obviously. So we want to kind of move with purpose here so he can get back to work. But did you use the trencher, the Bobcat and the trencher? So that makes things a lot easier, a lot nicer. Good. All right, and I think he has footage of that, so we can show you exactly what that looks like. But anything else we need to talk about? He says no. I can tell he's a little overwhelmed. So we're going to get out of here and let him do his thing. He works best in these situations alone, without somebody yapping in his ear, so that way he can think. But all right, we're going to move on. I think I want to take you back over to the house, because yesterday I started decorating outside for Christmas. We do not go all out when we decorate for Christmas. So it's just some very nice, simple, clean classic decorations that we do. And I started that and I want to finish it up today, so I thought maybe you'd like to join me. Okay friends, so here we are coming up to the front of the house. As you can tell, we have a very kind of a classic traditional Southern style house with a cute young man sitting on the front porch right there. He's very excited about this. So as you can see, I started yesterday with the large aqua pot that stays there. I do leave this aqua pot out year round because it is completely covered underneath our porch, so it does not get any kind of rainwater. I do tip the aqua pot so as much water that I can get out, I will do that. And then this is an old cotton cedar right here that was my great grandfather's grandfather, great grandfather, and we use it as some little porch decorations. Now, all I did with this aqua pot was simply, I went out into the woods and I foraged and got lots of beautiful greenery. So there is some of the cryptomeria right here. You know what? I might have Jackson hold this for me so that I can show you exactly what I got. That way it won't make you so seasick. Okay, so this is the cryptomeria. Remember the big, huge trees where we just planted those phantoms in front of? Got some of those. Lorpedalums. We have wild magnolias growing out in the woods. So there's a really big one behind the production greenhouses. So I go and get some magnolias. They're right here. Then this is just good old fashioned cedar that we've got tons of cedar trees. So they are in here, and that's all that is in this one. In the cotton cedar, I went ahead and put the holly in here because this was getting a little too close to people as they came in the front door, and nobody wants to get stuck by hollies when they come in. So I did some hollies in here, a little bit more magnolias, and then I have this sweet angel. I think I got this at the garden shop at Biltmore House. So that is in here. Very, very simple. There's only a couple of things that I want to add. But before we do that, I want to talk to you about the wreaths that I have on the front porch. So this is obviously not my Christmas one. This is the one for the fall. I found this great farm online, and guess what the name of it is? Creekside Farm. Ha! In no way are we affiliated with each other. I believe they are actually in California. But this is my fall one, and it had, of course, the dried magnolias. It had the oranges, the cinnamon, thyme in there. And I think I'm just going to take it and then find a place in the house and hang it in there and continue to enjoy it because it's quite pretty and I really do enjoy it. But I do have one for the Christmas. So it is down here. All right, so like I said, it comes from Creekside Farms. You can go online. I think it's just creeksidefarms.com. Again, we are not affiliated with them in any shape, fashion, or form. But the wreaths come and they are cinched down into the box. They come with a great instruction, exactly, you know, who they are, what they do, a care. And they do say, I mean, obviously this shipped across the country. And so some of your things may fall off. They actually overstuff them, overbuild them. And then you just simply pull it up. Now you can see that I lost a couple of magnolia leaves and some berries. I can easily take that if I want to with a hot glue gun and glue them back on. But this one, there was tons of them to choose from. This one, of course, has the Fraser fir, the magnolia, it has the gold ribbon, the little gold accented pine cones, and then the red berries. Really pretty, so I'm gonna switch it out the fall for the Christmas. So I think I don't even have to use the hot glue. We'll see if it stays. I just stuck those berries, just kind of stuck them up in there. Now, like I said, there's one more thing that I want to add to my arrangements. Dried hydrangea blooms. So let's go do those right quick. All right, so coming off of the front porch and we come down, you can see the redwood tree has lost pretty much all of its leaves. And we're coming down here to this giant limelight hydrangea. This hydrangea is probably 12 or 13 years old. Obviously, it's right here along the edge of the woods, and it is massive. And it has got some beautiful dried blooms on it that I am going to use for my decorations. Okay, I think this gives you a little bit of a perspective of how tall this hydrangea is. I'm about 5'2", 5'3", and you can see she is huge and beautiful and got some spider webs on her. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and trim off some of the blooms because I wanna add them to my arrangements. Now, I can safely do this to this limelight because it is a panicle hydrangea. It blooms on new growth, not old growth. In fact, on these panicles, it is best for the plant that you do prune them. Now, you can prune them anywhere from now until early spring. So anytime you want to do it, you can do it. You're not hurting the plant, you're actually helping the plant. Now, if you can see this hydrangea back here, I know it's a sad state. This is one of these areas that's gonna need a little bit of love. This is a hydrangea that blooms on old growth. Do not prune this. If I prune this now, I am cutting off all of my blooms for next year. I did a video on hydrangeas. I'll link it. You can check it out. So what I'm going to do is come in here and see if I can get some of my, I'm going to let them fall, some of my nice big blooms, because I have some special places for them. These heads are huge on this thing. This is one of the many reasons that we love limelight hydrangeas, is because look at the size of that bloom. Is it not huge? Absolutely gorgeous. All right, let's go back up to the front and add these in. So, have my hydrangea, and basically I'm gonna come in here and fill in any little gaps or accents that need to be filled in. When I was taking out my pumpkins and my fall decoration, I did not empty out the soil yet. So this is still filled with this spring, summer soil. So it makes great for our cuttings because they just stick down in there. It's fantastic. All right. So this is where it gets a little creative, and you got to figure out what works the best. Got to find a hole, because I really don't actually like that right there. This is called being creative with Jenny. You have to move things a couple of times. I feel like I have a hole right here. I'm competing against other stems. There we go. Ah, see, now that filled in the hole perfectly right there. And then take the tall one back. You know, they say do things in sets of 3, so we're going to try a 1, 2, and a 3 about right here. See how that works. This is not something that I stress over. As long as I enjoy it, my family enjoys it, that's all that matters. There we go. See? Simple as that. Making your house pretty should not be stressful. If it is, you're doing it wrong. You have the wrong, right? You're supposed to be enjoyable and have fun. Christmas is not about being stressed out. Haha. All right, that's fantastic. Now I have one more area that really is the main area that, the main reason that I cut these hydrangeas to go into. So let's move over to the side of the house. Okay, so if you remember this wall hanging, it is a planter that I got from Kinsman this spring, planted it, loved it. It has sat vacant this fall, and then I was like, let's fill it with some greenery. I had greenery left over. So you can see it's nice and big, the exact same thing. We've got the cryptomeria in there, the magnolia, and a little bit of cedar. This is the one originally, because I was like, it's not quite, needs a little something else. Now, it's tall, I'm short, I have a bucket to flip upside down to use as my stool. And the area that I felt really needed a little bit of space, something was over here. So that's what we're gonna do first. All right, so I did something a little different, and I went for a group of 3. Now I'm gonna have to stand back and see if I like it. It's a little different. I feel like we still need some other stuff. I feel like it's got more weight on the left than it does the right. Let's go hunt for another Cryptomeria stick. Come on. You can see the parking places are working out quite nicely. Those hollies have some growing to do before it blocks out the cars. It's all right. So here we go. Here are the Cryptomerias. Fantastic, evergreen, big, huge, beautiful trees that I come and clip just once a year for some holiday decorations. So I need something with some oomph to it, so it can be quite particular. Yep, and Jackson sees the same one. So I'm thinking this one right here. The only thing is because if you look down in there further, it's like a little bit of a pom-pom on the end of a stick, which I don't really like that. So,
That one?
no, I think this is it, Jackson, right here. I think the one straight in front of me. So I think this one looks pretty good. All right, Jackson, do you want to come in here and trim it? All right, so Jackson got me a good one. I think this should definitely do it. I did learn that you need to have more of a nice little stick that it can really kind of get down in there. So I just go down just a little bit and pull some extra stems off. If this doesn't fill it up, nothing will. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna try to put this bad boy in here in the appropriate spot. I need to get a little perspective here so I can see where I'm going.
Maybe between the two on the bottom and like the two ones on the bottom, and then put it above the ones on the bottom.
So up there between the hydrangea and where the cedar is. Let's see.
Right there between the two.
Yep. Let's see. Oh my goodness.
Definitely fills in the back.
That's what I want.
That looks good.
Jackson says it looks good. Here we go. Definitely. I think what I'm going to do is just tinker with it for a little bit and get it just how I want it, and then we'll come back. We're getting there. Okay, my friends, I think I'm just going to call it a day and be done with it. I added some more hydrangeas to the container. I love it. It makes a big statement from a great distance away. When I did this in the spring, people asked why I did not center the wall hanging on the wall. It's all about perspective, and if I had centered that on the wall, it would have looked too far over, in my opinion. So I like that it is off-centered a little bit, because as you can see, there's plenty of other things here that give it balance. So when you see that container just a little bit out of context, it looks a little odd. Clearly, since the last time we were in this shade garden, we have had some really cold nights, and my hostas and ferns have bit the dust for the fall and winter. So I can come in here and do a cleanup on them. But here we go, a little bit of a better perspective. Now you might notice that some of those hydrangeas are a little bit of a different color because I added little limes instead of lime lights. Again, different color, different texture. For me, it works. Not a problem. It's done. Moving on. We'll see how long this lasts. It is dry here, so I can take the hose. I've got a hose just right off to the side right there that I can spritz it with some water if need be, but there you go. And with that, my friends, we are going to call it a day. I will go back and make sure that Jerry has not officially lost his mind with the plumbing, see if I can be of a little bit of assistance to him. This is one of those times where it's not always best to have a camera on you when you're working, if you understand what I'm saying. So of course, we will keep you updated on how that goes. I have full faith and confidence in that man. There's nothing that he cannot do once he puts his mind to it. But as always, thank you so much for gardening with Creekside. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.